the Attack the Rack YouTube channel. This is the Attack the Rack Daily Lineup Show. Today is Monday, September 16, 2024. We just had a weekend full of football.
Guys, every family party or social event needs something special. Bubba's Bounce House Rentals, LLC can do that for you. They provide inflatable bounce houses and water slides on top of great service in the West Michigan Lakeshore area. Call Bounce Master Sam at 616-485-0257 today and mention Attack the Rack to get $25 off your next rental. Also, find Bubba's Bounce House Rentals, LLC on Facebook. Bubba's Bounce House Rentals. All we rent is fun.
Fellas, let's jump right into it and start with the Lions game. That was really disappointing. Lions outgain the Buccaneers 463 yards to 216 yards, and Trent, they still lose 20-16.
Yeah, it was frustrating, especially because the offense was kind of like not the question mark, I guess. And now it kind of feels like, actually, I guess the red zone is the question mark at this point, because we get all the way down the field, and then, I mean, like Goff's throw down the middle, he just threw a prayer and it gets picked off. And I don't know. They got to figure out some ways to, I mean, they got to get Laporta involved. All he does is block at this point. I mean, J-Mo is great, but they got to find a way to get some of those other guys involved. I didn't think we ran the ball enough. Montgomery had like 5 carries at the half. So I feel like he's kind of our power back, but we got to assert some dominance, I feel like, and we just haven't really shown that yet. I mean, Mayfield played a pretty good game. He had a couple big scrambles, and the touchdown run that he had was tough, but they just got to expect to get everybody's best shot at this point. And there's no games of like, oh, we're going to go play the Lions again. You know, it's like, hey, we got to show up and be the best we can be to beat the Lions. So they're getting everybody's best.
Big Mo, Jared Goff, big game yardage-wise, threw for 307 yards, 55 pass attempts, which is quite a lot. 34 out of 55 for 307, not bad, but he did have 2 picks, 0 touchdowns. Do we need to be concerned with our quarterback?
I think it all has to boil down to play calling. I think we didn't run it enough, like Trent said. I think we've got to be a team where the run sets up the pass. I mean, I almost wonder how many times we even play action stuff, you know, because we didn't get Laporta in any of those type of routes. We didn't get who's the other running back besides Montgomery?
Gibbs.
Like last year, we started to get him the ball like in those little like in-out routes right in the middle of the field, which like Bledsoe was kind of famous for. So I just think it had to do with, I think we're almost trying to I think Ben Johnson is probably almost out thinking himself.
Well, I don't know a ton of the X's and O's of the game, but I do know that I've seen him taking quite a bit of heat for the play calling yesterday.
Yeah, I just didn't like it. I just didn't like it a lot. I thought some of the late play calls were like questionable. And again, they were, Tampa was playing some prevent late, and like they did it. I mean, you got to give credit to their defense. They did enough to not let us score in the red zone. But again, I think if Jared Goff has to throw it 55 times, we're in trouble.
Yeah. No, for sure.
It shouldn't be that way. We've got a good enough line, and we got 2 outstanding backs. We should be running it to set up the pass.
Yep. And then the elephant in the room, head coach Dan Campbell. Certainly he's got to take responsibility, and he has, for the big blunder at the end of the first half, which you can argue that cost them the game, because if they would have had 3 points there, they had 2 opportunities at the end of the game in the last couple of minutes to kick what would have been and should have been a game-winning field goal.
And that's him being a scapegoat. That's not. Let's be honest. Those guys aren't running on the field most likely because of him, are they?
I think he told him to go.
Did he?
Yeah. I mean, who would it be? The special teams coach?
Yeah. I mean, or the players. Like, you're telling me they didn't know they were going to call timeout or take a. They didn't have a timeout, right? So they
They
had
were
to
going to spike it. Yeah, they were going to spike it.
That's. I mean, I get it that he wants to take the blame, but it takes, I think they said in even the broadcast, 16 seconds to run out on the field, get set up, and kick that field goal.
Yeah, there was like 7 on the clock or something.
Yeah, like you got to know in your head that the only way we're going out there is if they spike this thing.
Yeah,
100%.
So I love the fact that he's taken the fall, and maybe it was on him a little bit. Maybe he did tell him to get out there. I don't know. But in the essence of things, you gotta know the situation too as a player or special teams coach.
true.
And here's what I want to know too is on that first field goal, what was it, 4th and goal from the 2 or the 3? Usually that's I'm going to go for it call for Dan Campbell, and they went for the field goal.
Yeah. The fake punt was sweet though.
Yeah,
That
was pretty ballsy to do.
That should have been a lot more yardage had that pass been a little more to the outside and not let him back into that middle linebacker. But
but he's a punter.
he's completed 4 passes or something like that.
That was a big play.
Anyway, just an absolute crazy game. I mean, the Lions looked so good until they get into the red zone. Again, 463 yards. They only give up 216. How many sacks for Aiden Hutchinson? 5, I think.
Yeah,
4.5.
Yeah.
That's just incredible. 3 sacks in the first quarter, and yet we still lose the game.
I know.
I mean,
I think as fans, we got to realize, like, again, we're getting the best every game now, so we are going to lose a couple like that. So I don't think, like, good quality game. We made enough mistakes where we can learn from it. There's gonna, I mean, I know, Kurt, you wanted to be 17-0. Obviously, we're not going to get there, but I think you're going to run into some of these games where you don't play as well or you don't make the right plays. Another team's going to get us. But for majority of that game, even though we were down, I felt pretty comfortable. Like we were
so
going
did I.
Yeah. That's a good feeling. That's a good feeling to have, fellas. It's a good feeling to have.
But Super Bowl teams don't make that blunder at the end of the first half.
Kurt, hey, Kansas City Chiefs only won 11 games last year.
Super Bowl teams do not lose at home when they're a 7.5-point favorite.
Kansas City Chiefs.
Show me how many times they lost at home when they were.
They lost a ton last year at home, and they had to go on the road and win a bunch of games. If Dale fact checks that stuff, or I'll look it up here. But as you keep talking, I'll find the details here.
Well, no, I mean I'm pretty much ready to move on from the Lions.
Okay.
I would if you are looking up something, I am curious, how many carries did Montgomery and Montgomery Gibbs combine for?
24.
Yeah.
Not enough.
No, definitely not.
They need to be in that type of game. I think they need to be damn near 40.
Yeah.
Like combined. Plus, like the way we end the game against the Rams, we just give the ball to Montgomery, run behind Sewell, and you just make it happen. I just didn't feel like, even like right from the start of the game, we weren't running the ball. Like we started the game with 2 or 3 passes right away. Like I'm glad we got Amon-Ra involved, just because he's our guy, So like 11 catches for 119, and then J-Mo's been great, which helps. I still think we need a third if we're not going to throw Laporta the ball.
Yeah, I don't. Again, I'm not looking at the box score. I only remember 1 catch that he had. He had
2 for 13 yards.
Yeah,
like he seems to be like our big play guy, or like a 3rd and short where we can throw like a little out to him or something across the middle.
Yeah,
but I don't know. It felt weird from an offensive standpoint. Like we're still moving the ball, but they just couldn't finish out those drives.
Yeah, move the ball great until we get to the red zone.
That was what was frustrating for me. I thought was just like we had no issue getting the ball down the field, and it got to like the 25-30 ish, and then it kind of just stalemated there.
All right. Well, hey,
just to throw back here, Kansas City last year lost to the Lions early on at home.
They were probably a 7.5-point favorite.
Ooh, Well, were they? I bet they were close.
I think if I remember, it was like a 4-point favorite, maybe 4.5.
They're damn
I think
close.
you're right there.
Bills, Raiders, and the Eagles.
I highly doubt they were 7.5-point favorites against any of those teams. Maybe the Raiders.
Yeah, maybe Raiders.
But I will say the Bucks. I mean, the Bucks are 2-0, and they were a playoff team last year. I was surprised by that line, to be honest with you. I
Yeah,
thought 7.5 was a lot,
I agree.
but
Yeah, they are good. They're good.
yeah. We haven't been too kind, guys, to the Carolina Panthers thus far on our and when we talk NFL.
Do we have to start
Breaking
today?
news- What's that?
Do we have to start today?
No, we don't.
Okay, great.
Breaking news this afternoon. Bryce Young benched. Andy Dalton will take over the reins, at least for now. They are horrible. They
Yeah.
are horrible. I heard today, I think, and Bryce Young's obviously been terrible, bless his heart. I think he's 2 wins. So what, 2-16, 2-17, something like that as a starter. Only 11 touchdowns in 19 games. Just insane that number 1 pick could and look so good in college at Alabama could be this bad. Granted, they are a horrible team.
Yeah.
My question is it really worth benching him? Like, what are you going to gain by throwing in Andy Dalton in there, who's, he's had a fine career. He had some good years in Cincinnati, and he's been a solid as a QB2. But what are you really? You're not going to win anyway. Why not give it every opportunity you can to someone that you use the number 1 draft pick on? This season's over. They're not gonna, they're gonna be horrible this year, but maybe you just stick with him and hope that throughout the course of this season he can get a ton better.
I think it kind of stems from kind of like we hit on in some earlier episodes of just like these guys coming straight out of college and expecting to be elite quarterbacks. I just don't think he's ready. I don't think he's NFL ready to make that leap. It's kind of like similar to Caleb Williams right now too. He doesn't look like he's ready at all. But I don't think Bryce, being undersized, he's a smaller guy, probably a little bit bigger than Kyler Murray. I don't know. I just don't think he's ready. And then when he doesn't perform, the confidence just plummets. So now it's kind of like, hey, I feel like it's more of a reset for him. I feel like he just has to get his head back screwed on straight and remember that he was a good football player. I don't know who's even on the Panthers. I don't know if they block for him or if he just runs for his life.
I think he does do a lot of that too.
I think it's just a hard thing. Just, and he's young. I don't know. Like, he was so good in college. And then it makes it look worse because they gave up everything to move that pick up to get him.
Yeah.
When they could have had CJ Stroud. I don't know. I kind of feel bad for him in a way, but I guess you got to live up to the hype in the NFL. And when people praise you like that, you got to show out and be great. And he hasn't done that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it probably just gives him a break because they're not going to be good. They don't have any other weapons. I mean, he was 18-26 yesterday, which is not bad percentage-wise.
No, that actually
they have Adam Thielen.
Yeah, he's past his prime, isn't he?
Yeah, probably.
Aren't we all though?
Yeah, probably. No, we are. Trent, not you, but me and Kurt are for sure.
You guys
are so it's probably more just of a nice little reset to be like, hey, let's give him a little bit more time. He's 23. You let Dalton go in there. Dalton's probably not going to do much better, but he's probably going to manage the game maybe a little bit better. Maybe be able to show that, demonstrate that to Bryce. And then halfway through the season, you bring Bryce back and you say, hey, we just want to be competitive. It's not about winning games. It's probably about being competitive. So,
or we and with that too, along with that, making us competitive and us seeing that you're understanding things a little bit more and you're improving.
Panthers are going to win next week.
Just the way the NFL works.
Yeah. Who do they play?
Vegas.
Oh,
Dalton's going to throw for 280 and 4 touchdowns.
well, I did anticipate this coming, and I think at the actually now I can't even remember. My memory is so bad. I can't remember if I picked up Dalton late in the draft or if I picked him up on the waiver wire after week 1. I can't even remember, but he is on my roster for fantasy.
Yeah. He ain't putting up any stats like Trent just said. So
Oh, watch him.
not a chance.
He's been waiting. He's
Not a chance.
waiting for his moment.
All right. Well, so today we're obviously we're talking NFL. Tomorrow's episode we'll talk college football. One last thing in the world of the NFL here before we get out of here. Cowboys lose. Obviously, we talked about the Lions. Lions lose. 49ers lose. And who else? Ravens, right? Ravens lose. Chiefs barely win. Rams get destroyed by the Cardinals, who the Lions have coming or played next week. Jaguars lose to the Browns. Anyway, I'm going too far down this. I basically want to know Ravens, Lions, Niners, and Cowboys fan bases. Should any of them be panicking? And if so, which fan, well, let's just say which fan base should be panicking the most? And granted, we're 2 weeks in, but those are the, at least on the NFC, top 3 contenders lose in week 2. Big Mo, I think did you pick the Ravens to go to the Super Bowl?
I did. I'm not worried.
Not worried. They're 0-2.
That's all right. They played the Chiefs. They lose a heartbreaker the other night. I mean, if I had to pick one of those 4, probably the Cowboys, because they've shown the ability that they struggle. But in reality, I bet all 4 of those teams are in the playoff race down the wire.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So I'm not panicking if I'm any of them, but if I had to choose one, probably the Cowboys.
Okay. Trent, how about you?
I'm going to agree with Big Mo there. Dallas. I feel like they paid Dak a ton. They paid CeeDee Lamb a ton. Their defense is supposed to be good with Parsons and Diggs, I believe. I don't know. I feel like it's the same old story with Dallas. They get all the guys that you'd want to have on your team, and they just don't seem to put it together. And I feel like, what year is this for Dak? 5 or 6, maybe? I don't know. I feel like it's like being a dead horse. I don't know. I feel like they just continuously do the same stuff every year.
Yeah.
And the same letdown to their fans every year. So
Yeah.
I'd say Dallas.
All right. Yeah, I agree with you guys. I'm looking for something here, and I might not have it. I would agree with you guys too. The only thing I would say is 49ers, just because the uncertainty of Christian McCaffrey. He's on IR, so he's at least out 4 weeks. They're saying it could maybe be 6 or even more. So I guess that would be one reason why possibly the Niners might be the one out of that group to be more so in panic mode. Shoot, I can't find it now, but I did see a meme that showed wins and stats comparing Patrick Mahomes and Dak Prescott. They're almost identical. Career wins, career statistics, like completion percentage, touchdowns, almost identical.
That's pretty interesting.
I thought maybe I sent that to you guys, maybe not. But anyway.
Maybe it's just system and coaches and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because if you put Dak on the Chiefs for the last couple of years, do you think they still do the same thing?
I don't know. I mean, you got you got guys like Travis Kelce. You had somebody like Tyreek Hill. You got
Yeah.
one of the best coaches of all time.
Yeah.
But anything else NFL guys? Like I said, we'll hit up college football tomorrow. Anything else NFL wise? You got?
Caleb Williams isn't great.
No, he's not.
The plays that he would make in college where he peels out and throws a prayer
Yeah.
that get caught and run for 65-yard touchdowns are now interceptions.
Shockingly, that doesn't work in the NFL.
Is that game tomorrow? Is that tonight?
No, they were the night game last night.
Yeah. What's a
I mean,
barn burner Sunday night football?
No, that was bad. And CJ threw for 260 and they scored 19 points.
Yeah.
So it seems like it might, I don't know. It's just weird. Like you throw for 260 yards and you only score like a touchdown and a half.
Yep.
I don't know. Weird. It's very weird.
And then Monday Night Football tonight, Eagles Falcons. Eagles are a 5.5 point favorite at home. Who do you got?
The way this week went, give me Atlanta.
Atlanta in the Atlanta in the points, or are you taking Atlanta?
Just give me money line for all I care. I don't even.
All right.
Kirk's gonna throw for 285 and 3 touchdowns, and
The way the week was, Trent, you're probably right. I'm taking the Eagles.
Okay.
yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It was a weird week of NFL football.
All right. Anything else from the National Football League? Big Mo.
I got one more.
Okay,
I
go
don't like this one. Shout out to the Chargers. J.K. Dobbins is pretty good.
Yeah. Holy cow.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about him, to be honest.
Head coach Jim Harbaugh turning things around.
He ran for 130 yards yesterday.
Yeah.
But they're playing pretty well so far. So good for them.
Yep. Also, shout out Big Mo. Happy birthday.
Hey, thanks.
Happy birthday. 26. Let's go.
Glad to make 26, Trent. Glad to make it.
Well, you don't look a day over 21, even though you're 26.
That's what the ladies tell me.
Hey, I know
That's all that matters.
I know this isn't NFL, but we've certainly been a Caitlin Clark program. Got to give her some love. 35 points yesterday, career high. Set the single season rookie scoring record. Not a pretty win, but they did get the win, and she played great. So
they have that playoff spot locked up, right?
Yeah.
Think they rest?
They only got one game left.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So maybe not.
Yeah. I don't know. Big Mo, did you watch the game?
I did watch the game.
Trent, did you watch it or no?
When was it?
Coach, forget about Kelsey Mitchell in the fourth quarter. Did you notice that? She sat forever. Every time there was a dead ball, I was like looking at her like, okay, now she's going to turn and tell Mitchell to check in, and she never did.
I wonder if she was hurt from that one offensive foul she picked up.
She in foul trouble?
No, she wasn't.
No, she took a pretty good shot. At one point, I remember she was grabbing her chest a little bit in her side. Maybe she was just banged up.
She had a 30 or more too, didn't she?
30.
She had 30. She had 30.
They combined for 65.
Yeah.
They were as a combined duo, they were 22 of 43 from the field. They were 12 of 26 from 3.
Wow.
And assists. Oh, Mitchell only had 1.
Yeah, Clark had 8. So
yeah, that's pretty good.
So one more game and then it's playoffs.
All right.
All right, guys. Well, we will see you tomorrow.